Oilers Nation After Dark begins now.
Well, the first game of the Stanley Cup Final for the Edmonton Oilers didn't get the result they wanted, but I'm having a tough time being angry right now. Sometimes she goes, sometimes she don't. That's a wise quote from our buddy Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys, and I do think it applies to tonight. The Oilers, I thought, were the better team, dominated the shot category, had a number of chances to score some goals in this game, but one, Sergei Bobrovsky stood on his head, and dare I say the Edmonton Oilers got goalied. Dare I say they got bobbed. Hello and welcome to Oilers Nation After Dark. Subscribe to the ON YouTube channel, get in the chat, throw down your like. We got lots to discuss tonight. I'm curious to gauge the fan base reaction right now because, as I just said, I'm having a tough time being frustrated because the boys were good. Coomzy is here, live with me, downtown in Greta. We'll talk there. But Coom, the boys played well tonight. I thought they were the better team for the most part. I thought they deserved to win that game. Hello, Tyler Mulick. Bye, Tyler Mulick. You played that way for 7 straight games. You have to think more often than not you're going to win 4 out of those 7 games. Tonight just wasn't their night. What's your initial thoughts?
I mean, it's obviously you can be pissed off the Oilers lost the Stanley Cup final game, but then again, if you play that exact same game, like you said, 4 times throughout the course of the series, you're probably going to win the series. We all saw how good Sergei Bobrovsky had to be in order for the Panthers to win this game. And if the Oilers come out and have that exact same effort multiple times, then Bobrovsky's going to have to come back and be exactly that good. And I mean, yeah, Stanley Cup final, huge performance, but 9 times out of 10, if you double your opponent in shots on goal, you're going to win the game. For the Oilers, trust the process. You were the better team in this one. The effort you put in was good. It was 2 mistakes, but that's it. You played a really good game. Do it again. You probably win.
Exactly. I feel good. Let me know in the chat right here. There's just a lot of hate for one Sergei Bobrovsky, and we will unpack that one. And dude, kind of felt like the first opportunity he had in front of him was Connor turning the puck over, and then that one right in front of the nets. And Bob was on his game from the get-go. The Oilers had 33 shots on nets, and he had, 32 I'm seeing now, 32 shots on net. Bobrovsky obviously pitches the perfect shutout. And I don't know, Coomzy, that's just what you get with the Bob father. There's only one Bob father, and it's Bob Stauffer. But we came into the series on pregame and discussing that, hey, I agree that Bob has the goaltending edge in this series. I don't think Skinner was bad by any means tonight because he has a proven track record, because he's won 2-time Vezina before, because he's been in the Stanley Cup final before. But last year, his numbers were, forgive my language, absolute dog shit in the Stanley Cup final. You knew that he was going to put a lot of pressure on himself. He's 35 years young, getting to the end of his career there. This is going to be one of those kicks in the can. You want to put your best foot forward. Holy shit, he put 2 good feet forward. He was unreal tonight.
Yeah, he really was. This was a goalie who was locked in. This was a veteran goalie playing. He's in the best stretch right now that he's ever had in the playoffs. They flashed the graphic during the broadcast. It's, I think, 10 consecutive games or 11 consecutive games or 2 or fewer goals for Bobrovsky. Last year in their playoff run, he was good, but he wasn't the main part of their run last year. This year, he's been a huge part of their run, and he looks like a goalie who came into the Stanley Cup final and got out-dueled by Aiden Hill. And now he's come back this year and he says, you know what? No, I'm not going to be out-dueled. I'm the guy who signed the $70 million contract. I'm the first ballot Hall of Fame goaltender. That's who I am. I'm going to be the guy in this series. And for the Oilers, you got to keep throwing pucks on net, going, getting in his face, pissing him off, flashing after the whistle, snowing him. Do whatever you can to get Bobrovsky off of his game because right now he's on it. And if he stays on it for 2 weeks, it's going to be really hard to win this series.
It's going to be tough to score goals. I like that. We talked about it at the end of the game here going, what can you do to get under their skin at the end of the game? What can you do to maybe try and start a scrum? Is there anything you can do to Bobrovsky? The things that we said live, I cannot repeat on the show. I wish they'd do those things, but hey, it's a tough one. You want some good news, though? Shout out to Oilers Access on Twitter. The last 5 teams to win the Stanley Cup after losing Game 1, the 2020 Lightning, the 2019 Blues, the 2018 Washington Capitals. So there's 3 right there. This has been done before. I came on pre-gaming, and I gave some numbers for the home team when they win Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. I'll just say that they're good numbers. I then I finished that all up with, that actually doesn't fucking matter at all. None of those stats matter. Coming into this, you didn't think you'd steal both, right? You didn't think you'd go into Florida, win 2 games. I went in with the same mindset as the Dallas series. I want a split, and I still believe the Oilers play like that. They will get the split in the next game. Now you know, put a little bit of pressure on yourself on Monday night. We'll be back downtown here at Greta. What do you think the team's mindset's going to be in there on that one? It's not must win by any means. It's not a series until you lose at home, of course, but you know you're going to get a highly motivated Oilers squad that they had the high danger chances. I saw this tweet here from one Bob Stauffer. According to Natural Stat Trick, the Oilers had 18-6 edge in high danger chances tonight. You got to think the Oilers feel good. They just come back out of the next game, redo everything you did, and stick to itiveness.
That's where I'm at. I don't think you have to sit here and feel sorry for yourself, be angry about what happened. I mean, they were the better team, and if you come back and put that one in next time, you're probably going to win. Like, you need Sergei Bobrovsky to be as good as he was for Florida to win that game, and I guess from Edmonton's perspective, like, you didn't expect to come into Florida and win both these games. You'd have to steal a road game at some point and worry about your home games. But if you come in and you put forward that effort again, then you're going to be fine. Like, the Oilers have played their best hockey in the other series when they're in a tough situation. When Vancouver went up 3-2, that's when the Oilers started to play their best hockey. When Dallas was winning in that series, when they had won the home game in Edmonton, that's when the Oilers started to play better. It was 3 consecutive wins after that. So they put themselves in a bit of a tough spot, or Florida put themselves into a good spot. And I'd expect, given the way things have gone this entire playoff run, the Oilers will probably come back under pressure and do well.
I think they're going to deliver. We've seen it for way too long with the squad. Let's take it to a positive note right now. We're downtown. We're here at Greta Barrieg. We had an awesome event here. By far the most packed this bar has ever been for one of these games. It was legendary. I have never missed a Greta event. I have been here for every one we did last year and every one we do this year. It's a dirty job. Someone's got to do it. I'm working incredibly hard at these events. I did a good job as a hype man tonight. I feel like I did a pretty good job trying to get this crowd going. Because the Oilers, we just needed that goal for those prepaid Pink Whitney shots to get this bar going. But, brother, it was standing room only all night long. If you weren't here 2 hours before the game, you didn't reserve your table even on Wednesday. I believe they were done with reservations on Wednesday. There was no room in this place. People were just doing laps because they did not know where to go. Shout out to the staff, Phil, absolute beauty, Phil Eagle, the manager of Greta. He opened up the back patio, was very concerned it was going to rain. So many of the fans out there, they're like, I don't care if it rains. I'll get wet. I don't give a shit. Overall, what'd you think of this event tonight?
Oh, it was great. It was absolutely, it was a blast. Like, it's so lit up right now. And I mean, even though they took the L, the vibes are still positive. Like, everyone understands it's game 1 of the Stanley Cup final. Everyone's happy to be here. Ultimately, there's still a handful of games left to go, and much Stanley Cup final left to be played. And yeah, the vibes are what you'd think they were. You know, it's been 18 years since
a lot of pent up aggression came out.
Especially if you're one of these kids from here who's fucking 19 years old. You were, 1 year old when the Oilers were in the Cup final last. So this is your first chance to get in the mix and watch some good hockey.
Coomzy had the best old man yelling at clouds moment. A couple of punk ass young kids right around us, and I loved it because I'm getting a little bit older. We're getting up there.
I'm on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah, you're on the wrong. I'm on the good side at least, and you could feel it. And we're like, these kids don't even know. These kids don't even know. And I understand the irony of me saying that, but I was around 2006. So we've talked a lot about one goaltender, but we need to talk about the next goaltender. Pat, we're still working. You just lost service on my computer right here. Stuart Skinner. Obviously, he's back because he allowed the first goal of the game. That's when you know he's cooking. But overall, I thought Stu did enough to win this game. Obviously, you only have 2 goals against. That's going to be good. 15 of 17 for an .882 save percentage. Overall, what did you think of Stu tonight?
Yeah, I personally find it hard to blame. I mean, look at what the situation was. Like, Sergei Bobrovsky was unbeatable in this game. The Oilers threw over 30 shots on net. Nothing's getting past Bobrovsky. So, I mean, nothing's getting by him the whole time for Skinner. Yeah, maybe one soft one, the first one, not the best goal. The one after that, the Nurse and Ceci pairing, you're kind of looking around wondering what went on in that play. But you allow 2 goals, then you think that's probably good enough for your team to win. But as good as Bobrovsky was, I don't know how good Skinner would have had to been. He would have had to have been literally perfect in this game, and that is what it is. Hopefully Skinner can steal them a game later in the series, but he was perfectly fine tonight. If he plays like this the rest of the games, the Oilers will be just fine.
I'll take it every step of the way. I've lost the chat in front of me. My laptop cut out of internet. Pat, that's why you can't hear me right now. But, baby, we power on, and we keep rolling in this place.
Tough it out.
One thing that we got to talk about, because it was a massive storyline coming in, right? The physicality, the nastiness, the dirtiness, whatever word you want to use for the Florida Panthers. They play with size, they bang bodies, they get in hard on the forecheck, and that's their game. I thought it was a little bit coming into this series because I said, hey, the Oilers can play that way. They can muck it up. They can get greasy if they need to. They've shown that in these playoffs. They let LA take dumbass penalty after dumbass penalty while still in it, but never cross that line. The Vancouver series, plenty of bad blood with Nikita Zadorov, and it was shut down in the Dallas series. You didn't see it for the last 2 weeks. A lot of people, that was their storyline. Can the Oilers deal with the physicality of the Florida Panthers? Overall tonight, I thought the Oilers were in the fight just fine. It picked up more and more. I'm always a guy who says you're going to get the nastiness more as you get to game 3, game 4, so on and so forth. There was a couple scrubs early on in this game. You know the bad blood with Matthew Tkachuk. He was coming out there trying to headhunt. Adam Henrique absolutely blasted Oliver Ekman-Larsson into the boards, split his face open with no call. That was sick. You got to like that. What'd you think overall of the physicality? Because we knew Florida's a big, tough, mean team. The Oilers can defend themselves, and they can play that style of game. Overall, what'd you think?
Yeah, nobody threw more hits in the league this year than the Panthers.
And these playoffs.
One of the most physical, one of the most aggressive teams in the league. That's a whole big part of what they do. But there's also a pretty big deterrent if you're Florida going up against the Oilers, which is Edmonton's elite power play. And then also the Oilers aren't a team that's going to back down from this either. I know Vinny Desharnais wasn't suited up in this game, but that's usually one of the players who would be a deterrent. But you think you have a guy like Evander Kane in the mix. Darnell Nurse isn't afraid to drop the gloves either. They have a good physical team, and I mean, they can go up against other tough, chippy teams. But I think ultimately the big deterrent for Florida is they're probably not going to take as many liberties on the Oilers, because if you give that elite power play an extended look, a 4-minute power play or a 5-minute one, if you take a major, do something like that, then that can be a huge game changer. So I mean, a team like Florida, they love to muck stuff up and play that style, but there is a very big deterrent. And in this one, I think, maybe some calls got mixed, but I'm not going to sit here and complain about the reffing. I think they caught most of the things. Like it's the Stanley Cup final. Not every single call is going to be made, but I don't think the refs let Florida go wild in this one.
No, God, no. I didn't think there was any problem with the officiating. Honestly, I think the Oilers were the beneficiary of some missed calls at some points in this game. Weird, though, to look at. And you always take the hit counter because you don't know who's recording the hits. According to this, the Florida Panthers had 63 hits to 35. So,
because they never had the puck.
Yeah,
they're chasing it around the whole night and hitting everyone because they don't have the puck.
That's a very good call. So you mentioned as well there with the Oilers on the power play. I thought overall they got good opportunities. They went 0 for 3 on the power play tonight. I thought they were slicing and dicing around there, moving it around, feeling good. A couple moments where you're like, Boosh, just let it rip, man. Just let it rip, because in the style of game, the more this went along with Sergei Bobrovsky, you knew it was going to take something greasy, something off someone's kneecap, off their shin, to be able to beat Sergei Bobrovsky. I'm always proprietor and pusher of can't score if you don't shoot. So putts on net. We got in that third period, and I wanted a little bit more and more of that. The power play, though, 0 for 3. I thought they generated enough chances. There were some things here and there. What did you think of the power play?
Power play was fine. I mean, Florida's got a really good penalty kill. I mean, that is a big part of their game. They have multiple forwards who can get in your face, defensemen who can really close the box in front of the net.
I thought they were pretty aggressive, too, with the puck carrier up at the blue line, whether it was Bush over to a Nuge. They were quickly on to attacking them and definitely rushed the Oilers because they love their time and space. You give them that, they're going to get comfortable, get their wheels under them and everything. Florida did a great job at not letting them get that time and space.
Yeah, and that could be that's going to be a huge matchup throughout the course of this series because, like I said in my last point, the big deterrent for Florida not playing their hood rat style is the Oilers' power play. But if Florida's penalty kill is the answer to Edmonton's power play and that aggressive style where they're up at the point, giving Evan Bouchard, getting in his face so he doesn't have the time to move the puck around, getting up in Nuge's face so he can't move the puck around, then that's a pretty big game changer if you're Florida, because like we said, Edmonton having that power play means it's very hard for Florida to play that game. So a lot of this series is, I think, going to be won and lost on special teams.
Yep.
And the Oilers, I don't think they had a bad power play in this one, but Florida's penalty kill was very prepared for the Oilers. It's like they've been waiting for this. They knew who they were going to be facing in the Stanley Cup final. We're ready for this power play.
Crazy. Almost like they're a really good hockey team.
You never know, right?
They made it to the Stanley Cup finals. Their PK was good tonight, but it's no Edmonton Oilers penalty kill. They continue to be not even elite. Elite does not describe the Oilers penalty kill. They are hitting legendary stats. They have now, like that one, I like that. They have now killed off 30 consecutive minor penalties. And the point I keep making, they're +1 on aggregate with that penalty kill. I've never seen a team in this run right now get momentum off taking penalties. It baffles the mind. It makes absolutely no sense. But you can even feel it in this bar tonight, downtown at Greenwich. The moment they take a minor penalty, the whole bar's like, oh, it's all good, man. Open ice. We'll get that going. And then you know right after, we're going to go nuclear. We're going to give you the big boys. We're going to load up that top line. The PK just continues to be absolutely incredible. This team is on another level shorthanded. We've talked about it throughout the year that it's the ownership that some of these guys, they've taken pride in it. It's their unit. Nuge is the only top 6 player that plays on the PK. It's all bottom 6 guys. They've taken ownership, and we've seen different players be able to come in the penalty kill. Vinny, who's been a staple on the PK for the entire season, has now missed a couple of games. PK has continued to keep rolling. They've taken Ryan McLeod out. They've kept going. Derek Ryan, Sam Carrick, both not in the lineup tonight, yet they still find a way. The power play or penalty kill, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, there's some guys on the PK who need to get some flowers here because there's a few different guys who took some shit for being even on the roster. I think Connor Brown's one. He signs the contract with the performance bonus for next season. Takes him forever to score a goal this season, and people are wondering, what's this guy doing here? Who is this guy? I mean, even when he's not scoring goals, when he goes in the penalty kill, and he's all over the place. He's getting chances while he's in the penalty kill. Matthias Janmark at the beginning of the season, everybody was ready to throw this guy on waivers. Who cares? It's Matthias Janmark, some scrub. We have Raph Lavoie in the American Hockey League team. He's going to score so many goals, and everybody was ready to just throw him on the street. Who cares? But you've got 2 really good veteran penalty killers, 2 players with NHL experience, 300-400 games under their belt, who are going to play on this team and know their role is to be very good penalty killers. And that's what the Oilers have. And that's what they didn't have years ago when, in the 2016-17 run, when they had that kind of incomplete team early in the Connor and Leon era. In the other playoff runs they had in the early Ken Holland era, they didn't have the depth. Now they have role players playing in the right spots, and there's depth forward. They're not scoring that many goals, and you wonder, what are these guys doing? Well, this is it. Playing good defensive hockey as forwards, and for years, the Oilers didn't have this.
It's a great thing to have, being proud of your PK, being able to live through it. Also, Pito, you can feel Bortsy coping. I feel great right now, but maybe we're coping a little bit. Also, chat, clean it up. You're going to get Pat a heart attack behind the scenes right now. I see him working away, working so hard.
He's grinding.
But be sure to throw down your like for that video. Tonight on Pre-Gaming, I guess it was my personal key to victory, was the Edmonton Oilers dealing with the forecheck of the Florida Panthers. We know they have size. They're mean. They bang bodies. They go down low. And a lot of games for the Edmonton Oilers, it happened in the Dallas series. It's not being able to get the puck out of your own end. And while the Oilers dominate the shot category, I did think there were several moments where they were hemmed in their own zone. You could just, that feeling. We've seen the movie so many times with this team before. And then Florida gets a good cycle going. They get a chance to try and get the puck out. Sometimes they didn't even get it past the blue line right there. Respect the blue lines. But then Florida would be right there in the neutral zone. I thought they did a great job of making the Oilers struggle to leave their own zone with clean breakouts, which has kind of been an Achilles heel for the Oilers throughout this entire season. We know we have yet to talk about that one specific deep pairing, and we'll get into it with the good, bad, and the Oilers. I bet you can guess that one, but I don't know what you think of that overall dealing with that Florida forecheck. And you got to be able to break the puck out cleanly, and tonight I did think in points the Oilers, they severely struggled.
I mean, there's a reason that Florida led the league in hits. They have the most hits in the playoffs as well. This is what they do. They have 4 different forward lines where all the wingers on the line are going to come in and they're going to skate hard and they're going to throw a hit. It's going to start with Matt Tkachuk. It's going to be Carter Verhaeghe. It's going to be Sam Bennett. It's going to be Steven Lorenz. It's going to be Vladimir Tarasenko. It's up and down the lineup. There's a lot of guys, Ryan Lomberg, like it's up and down the lineup, guys that just come in and throw hits, and they wear the opposing defenders down. That's why I was kind of wondering in this game. They took him out last series, but maybe Vinny Dirtiness would be a good guy to have in here for this series because of the physicality. But Florida's got a lot of speed in their forward group, and it's a tough one to match. All you can really do if you're the Oilers is take the hits, make the play, and then hope your forwards go and do the exact same thing. You have the exact same personnel. You're a big, strong team as well. The Florida Panthers are a bigger, stronger team than the Oilers.
Fire with fire.
Exactly. Send down the exact same thing. You have Dylan Holloway and, Evander Kane, Corey Perry, guys like that can go in and skate hard and thrash their defensemen. You can throw a big hit on Aaron Ekblad, throw a big hit on Gustav Forsling. Make it difficult for them. Play the exact
soft
same
name
game.
like Aaron, you can hurt that guy. I know you can.
Exactly. Soft name like Aaron. Two A's at the beginning.
It's a girl's name. It's a girl's name, technically. One thing coming in tonight, we saw some of the lineup changes, and I'm curious your opinion and the chat. Let me know as well, because if you watch pregaming, I said I like this bottom six because it doesn't feel like a fourth line. It feels like it's two third lines, and specifically the Rico, Brown, and Janmark trio. They're good, man. They have chemistry. They know how to play simple, smart hockey. I love the way Adam Henry plays. It's not an exaggeration to say he is new to it. He just tends to do things the right way. He got a breakaway earlier in the game. Janmark and Brown had a number of chances in tight, skating hard. Brownie's skating like the fucking wind right now. He's just ripping all over the place, moving their feet. I saw a bunch of good hits on the forecheck, specifically that Rico one on Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I like that move to go with that. So let's start there, and then I'm going to ask you about Corey Perry moving up in the lineup. But what you think of the alignment before to kind of move that way and put Rico technically on the fourth line, whatever you want to say?
I mean, you can call it the fourth line, but Matthias Janmark and Connor Brown have not been playing like fourth line wingers. Those guys have been playing like third line wingers. And for the Oilers, I don't think it's really, you got a third and a fourth line, second, third, fourth even. I don't think it really is all about that. They have four different lines who are contributing, and you're looking for different blends of players who do different stuff. I think when you put a center like Adam Henrique on the fourth line, quote unquote, with two wingers like that, like Janmark and Brown, I think it's because you're rewarding Janmark and Brown. You're not saying, Adam Henrique's our fourth center.
That's a great point.
We're rewarding these two wingers who have played really well. They've been grinding. They've been penalty killing. They've been forechecking really well, and they've been getting chances. So let's give them a center who can be a catalyst, somebody who can make passes in the offensive zone, generate some offense. I think that's kind of the key, is you're trying to spread the offense around. And those two wingers, I mean, I praised them in my last point. They've been playing well, so they deserve that kind of nod from the coach.
Absolutely. Just taking a look inside the YouTube chat right now. What do we got going on here? A lot of trolls. That's what we got in here. I like people saying that we're coping.
Vancouver Canucks fans
because
still?
In my head, I'm like, if you're a Panthers fan, absolutely go nuts in there.
Sure.
But if you're a fan of any other fan base and you're telling me I'm coping, well, you're in our After Dark YouTube chat. Something doesn't line up
You're
there.
projecting.
Something doesn't line up there.
That's even worse. I'd rather be coping than projecting.
The one other thing that I wanted to bring up is there was a lineup change during this game. Corey Perry moved up in that lineup, and I believe it was Evander Kane who went down, I do believe. Somebody correct me if I was wrong. Was it Holloway? I believe it was Kane. What do you think of that move? There was some guys barking in the bar here about bring back the McLeod, Dry, and Corey Perry line that we saw start, I forget whatever game that was. They were down 2 goals early. Those guys scored a beauty to get the Oilers back in it. And they showed some chemistry. They've shown some good. Corey Perry drags guys into the fight. That's one thing he can do well with Ryan McLeod. We've all been pushers of McLeod as a winger sometimes. He's back to the center position tonight. But what do you think to bring Corey Perry back up in the top 6? Because he just does not have the foot speed. I'll go first. I'm not a fan of it. But if Nobby makes a move, I will support it. But if it's me, that's just not where I'm going to be. I think Corey Perry, through and through, is a bottom 6 kind of guy. Look at the man. He can't move. But you bring him up there with some faster players and skill. I just feel like it's not a dead weight because he drags him into the fight. It's just not going to mesh well with what kind of game they play. What do you think of the move by Nobby to bring Perry back up into the top 6? Then?
I think part of it is sending a message to Evander Kane. I mean, I'm not saying that he had a bad game per se. I don't think he was struggling or was any reason they lost. But I don't think it was his best game. He didn't bring the same physical energy, especially against a team like Florida, where, like we were just talking about, you have Matt Tkachuk, you have Carter Verhaeghe, Sam Bennett, just nonstop physical forwards, frustrating guys to play against. This is the kind of game where you'd like for Evander Kane to be going toe to toe, and you'd like for him to be throwing some big hits. So I wonder if it's not so much about Corey Perry, and it's just about Chris Knobloch saying to Evander Kane, all right, look, you're not one of our feature players right now. That's not what you've been doing in this game. So maybe that lights a fire under him for game 2, because that could be a game changer. The Oilers have to match Florida's physicality in this series. And if you have to do something to fire a guy up like that in game 1 to get him going in game 2, you're playing the long game. It's not every decision's about the here and the right now. Sometimes it's about, a few days from now.
And Chris Knobloch has been the best puppeteer, ventriloquist, whatever the hell you want to say. He has a pulse of this hockey team. I like that point there with Kaner. He was on pregame today. He said, I hate how much people use who's your X factor of the series, as I gave my X factor of the series, but it was Evander Kane. I used the phrase fight fire with fire. We know they're dirty, nasty. We know Matthew Tkachuk can play with that piss and vinegar, that whatever you want to describe it as. Kaner can do that too. We saw it in the 2022 second round against Calgary, where he sunned Matthew Tkachuk. He manhandled that boy, made him look like a son in just that. And Kaner was so physical in the Vancouver series, and part of it could have been just straight up natural hatred for the guy on the other side in Nikita Zadorov, because then it felt like in the Dallas series, well, Kaner wasn't bad by any means. There wasn't that need for that physicality and that rough and tumble style game, and it feels like it kind of went away from it. And I said tonight, he needs to be a leader, a guy that is the hardest on the forecheck. I mentioned that in like game 6 and 7 of the Vancouver series, you could see Quinn Hughes reacting, shoulder checking and going, oh, fuck, there's Evander Kane again, getting lit up into the boards, and it created a toll. And I want that from Evander Kane throughout this series, so that it's a war of attrition. It's going to be by game 5, game 6, game 7. That's where you're going to reap the rewards. But overall, I didn't know if he brought that nastiness, that physicality. Somebody in here, final buzzer, 20. Oh, there's so many things in here. 2024 Kane is not 2022 Kane.
Contract year.
He doesn't have a hat trick yet, so yeah, I guess that is true, correct, Nick?
Contract year.
I also want to prove that I believed I live bet money line plus 750. Tried to will the Oilers come back to happen. But what are you going to do?
Good vibes only, right?
What are you going to do? Actually, every single one of Portuguese bankroll bets. You got to score a goal for me to be able to profit off of any bit of that. Let's get into it here. Let's do it. Let's get into the Greta scoring summary, courtesy of Greta Bar Yeg. They are the spot to watch a game in Edmonton. This place is absolutely off the fucking hook right now. Audible check, vibe check, taking my headset off. Holy shit, that is loud, man. That is just insane. Hide that mic. We're also down a headset because Tyler and the boys took the extra headset. We should have one on Monday. Let me know in the chat how the audio has been, because it is loud in here right now. But Greta, we're going to be here every single game for the conclusion of the Stanley Cup Finals. I basically live here at this point. I have been here for weeks, if not months. I feel like making a Murphy bet that just falls out right here, and I can just sleep. Me and Pat will be back here again on Monday. And people, we will be partying. Let me know in the chat if you were here, because boy, oh boy, was it lit. That scoring summary brought to you by Greta. It's also going to be incredibly fast because there was only 2 goals. Let's start with the first one, because the Panthers get on the board. It's Carter Verhaeghe, his 10th of the playoffs, assisted by Alexander Barkov and Sam Reinhart. Panthers were on the rush, as you'll see it here. Barkov just sends a beautiful backhand saucer over to Verhaeghe, who beat Skinner on the Panthers. You heard it here. First shot of the game. I'm not shitting on Skinner for this one at all. That's just a beautiful play, working it down. And Carter Verhaeghe is a guy for me that, why did he get good all of a sudden? Where did this come from? Because he's been such an elite scorer for the last 2 seasons. He's been unreal. This is a play, top line, doing top line stuff. Reinhart, Barkov, Verhaeghe, back to the net. The Oilers were down 1-0.
Yeah, this is Florida with their, top 6 of 4 different power forwards who are huge and skate well and just rip to the net and put their stick on the ice and can score goals. this is where you see exactly Florida and what makes them good. Carter Verhaeghe can just go in basically untouched. And I mean, I think the unfortunate thing for that one is Cody Ceci committed, unfortunately, on the puck side, as opposed to attacking Florida's guy Verhaeghe there, defending him strong against the net, but not necessarily an easy play to deal with. I mean, Florida's got a strong attack. That's a fantastic pass by Barkov to make just a quick little feather right there, and Verhaeghe's in the perfect spot. This is the Panthers. This is what they do. They're a quick strike offense. Like, the Oilers were the team who flew out of the gates and looked really good right off the hop, but Florida's a quick strike offense, and this is what they can do. They send a power forward in deep, sticks on the ice, goes to the net, and this is what happens.
That's textbook play right there. And while it's easy to shit on the Nurse Ceci pairing, you look at the box score, who are the only two D-men who are -2. It's Cody Ceci and it's Darnell Nurse. But on that one, I want to give Florida credit. Those are elite players making elite plays. The second one, however, you can fucking put their heads on sticks as long as you want. Let's pull it up here. The second goal of the evening for the Florida Panthers. It's Evan Rodriguez, assisted by Brandon Montour and Sam Bennett. And, dude, this makes me angry. This makes my blood boil. If you've been on Twitter or anywhere online, every single Oilers fan is not happy. This is simply wanting it more. That battle to the boards with Sam Bennett as he's fighting off one Cody Ceci. That is a weak-ass effort from Cody Ceci. And Darnell Nurse in no man's land, standing in the middle, not taking the other player, standing there with his thumb up his ass, as you see it on your screen right there. Goes right past the man in the slot. You can blame a lot of people on this play. The forwards didn't back check as hard as you want. As you see Evander Kane, what in the Lord are you doing right there? Give a stick lift, give an attempt. That was bad from everybody on the ice. And this is what Florida you knew you were going to get. Hard forecheck, tough on pucks, going to win battles. And Cody Ceci just got straight up pitched on that.
Yeah, you can't take a shift off when you're facing the Florida Panthers. Like I said, it's a quick strike offense, and there was a few different passengers on that shift. I mean, this was the rough goal for that defensive pairing. The first one, yeah, Ceci wasn't in the middle of the ice, but it's a fast developing play. But this one was just straight up. You're the second defensive pairing, for better or for worse. Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci are the second defensive pairing. That's just where we're at. And I mean, you're not a defensive pairing that moves the puck particularly well, so you have to be a defensive pairing that's difficult to play against. You have to be one that's getting in lanes. You have to be one that's slashing the opponent's sticks, that's getting physical with guys. You cannot be a passive defensive pairing if you're those two, and that's the frustrating thing is you're never – I mean, it's one thing to watch a guy like Evan Bouchard make a mistake like that, and you're like, absolutely fine, because later on you're going to make up for it offensively. That's what you do. But you're watching what's supposed to be a second defensive pairing, and they're not making good plays. In 2006, when the Oilers were in the Cup final, it was Jason Smith and Steve Stais in the second pairing. They would not be standing around waving their sticks in the fucking Stanley Cup final.
Kaner would have
like
put
that.
Sam Bennett's head into the glass and then cleanly broke that puck out, because that's what Kaner does.
Exactly. So that we can't be having passengers in situations like that. That's one they have to watch on the video replay and be like, whoop, shouldn't be doing that at this point in the year.
That's just simple effort, man. You can't be out-muscled. And Sam Bennett, sharp player, tough player to play against. You cannot have it that easy. And then, as I mentioned, Darnell, no man's land, Kaner, bad play. I see why you got demoted after that. Shred before dead, this made me laugh. I keep snapping my fingers. Nurse and Ceci are still here. That is crazy. Joe Smith, actually, we'll get in this. So third goal, empty netter. We don't need to watch it. Florida Panthers win 3-0. That's it for the Greta scoring summary. The shots in total, 32-18. Joe Smith says it here. Shots don't matter. Florida completely shut down McDavid after that fluky first chance. Now, I won't say completely shut down by any means. Connor McDavid was a threat every single time he's on the ice. But what do you think about that matchup? I said coming into it, I thought the Barkov matchup was being too overblown, that Connor's going to struggle with Barkov because he's this new level. And I agree. I think he is the best two-way centerman in the NHL. But I would said, why is there not flips? Barkov's going to be playing against Connor McDavid, which is another world, another step. Mika Zibanejad, good player. Not Connor McDavid. Charlie Coyle, good player. Tries hard, love the game. Not Connor McDavid. So I thought the matchup was a little bit overblown. Credit game one. Barkov is as good as I thought he was defensively. What do you think of that matchup?
The Panthers have really good depth because even beyond Barkov, you got Barkov, Sam Bennett right behind him. He's a pretty good two-way center. Anton Lundell as well, who's somebody who's clearly learned a lot from watching Alex Barkov play. So what Florida has is three really good defensive centers right down the middle. And I mean, Barkov against McDavid, we've seen this in the other series before. It's not every single game in the playoffs that Connor McDavid dummies his opponents. Every once in a while, remember in the Vancouver series, there was games where JT Miller had his game. There were games where Anze Kopitar might have had his game. But it's not every single game they're going to shut him down, and that's the thing. Barkov has to shut him down 4 different times over the course of 7 games in this series, and that's the challenge. I think Barkov did do an absolutely very strong job dealing with Edmonton's top guns in this game, but I mean, the Oilers now have a chance to watch tape on Alex Barkov in the game that he plays and come and bring something else. Because remember, you're facing an Eastern Conference opponent now. You see them twice a year, and like when you play those 2 games, is that even them at their best? You don't have that much scouting on exactly how they're going to play you. So after game 1, you come back with a different strategy. I don't think Barkov's going to be able to shut down McDavid back to back.
Pat's dad has the mic for Greta right now, and he's ready to sing into that mic. I love it. Wow, did that distract me from the thought that I was just about to talk about? So let's move along here to the good, the bad, and the oily, brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross, because there's only one thing better than sharing memories, and that's making new ones. ABC Travel Insurance protects your memories and more wherever travel takes you. Visit Aaron Bordato.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. No, don't type Aaron Bordato. Just type AB. Coomzy, that dance floor a couple feet away from us right now is beyond lit. They are blasting the Jay-Z and Alicia Keys. Just guess the song. Let's start here with the good. And tonight's, it's shots. It's 33 shots. I thought the Oilers had enough of their chances. They had enough opportunity to tie this game up. Bob stood on his head. There was breakaway shots or chances. Adam Henrique earlier in the game. Warren Fogle had a couple ones. So many scrambles in front of the net. That's how I opened up the show. I'm having a hard time being angry or being mad at the results of this game, or trying to be mad at the results, but not the way it went down, because I thought the Oilers, Bob did Bob things. The offense was there. They had the spots. They picked corners. Sometimes bad luck. Sometimes there was one. Cody Ceci put a puck on net, and it was like 6 feet away from the net. That's not good. That's not good. I'm getting sidetracked here, but I don't know. I'm having a hard time being upset. The offense was there. It was just Bobrovsky, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said at the beginning. When you put, 32, 33 shots on net, more often than not, the goalie's not going to play that well and shut you out. It kind of is what it is. I think if the Oilers come back with this effort in another game, in game 2 in this series, then the result is going to be better for them. Bobrovsky stood on his head and played a fantastic game, but the Oilers have to come back with the exact same effort again in game 2 on Monday, and you're probably going to get a better result. You just got to keep doing it. Keep doing your thing. Trust the process.
I see Joe's in here. He said to you, wrong. The great one said Barkov is the best defensive player he's seen since Trottier with offensive upside. That's the great one talking. Yes, Barkov will do it every single game. Joe, I better see you in this chat after every single game now that I put there on the screen. I also thank you for the subscription to the Oilersnation YouTube. I do appreciate. Coomzy, you're getting beers delivered right up to you right now. I got another beer coming my way as well. The mood isn't that bad here at Gunnabar down 0-1 in the Stanley Cup Finals. With the good comes the bad. I think a blind, deaf, and dumb monkey could figure out what the bad was tonight, and it's Darnell Nurse, and it's Cody Ceci. And then we were baffled coming into it tonight. Why are you going back to it? But it's been the trust in Chris Noble. It has been. If he says it, I will ride with it. He's the ventriloquist. I'll let him do whatever he wants to do. I felt from the get-go of this, I didn't want any part of this. I was very curious if Vincent Desharnais would come back in the lineup. The argument I had, I'm not taking out Philip Broberg, and we'll touch on him in a moment. Philip Broberg, I thought, has played great. I think Vinny needs a shot back in this lineup. He deserves it. He's worked hard all year. He's been a staple all throughout it. Do you dare bring in Vinny for a Cody Ceci in the next game?
Yeah, I think if you're going to make a change, I don't think it can be either of the other two defensive pairings. You're not touching Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard. You're obviously not touching that. Kulak and Broberg.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
Broberg's played the best hockey.
Broberg? Broberg? I like Broberg. I like Broberg.
Broberg's played the best hockey he's played in his NHL career since he came into the playoffs in the Dallas series. So it's got to be something you do with the Nurse and Ceci pairing. And I think, honestly, the move is probably to bring in Vinny Darnay's in place of Cody Ceci. And you have a defensive pairing with a huge wingspan, lots of size, defenseman who can play physically. And you say, that's what you have to do in game two. Worry about playing physically, worry about absorbing hits, worry about winning the races to the pucks and having not be worn down by Florida's forwards.
Yeah. Pat, put a poll in the chat. Would you swap Vinny for CC, yes or no? I have a feeling on the chat.
Broback's not going anywhere, man.
Broberg is now my favorite. That's a t-shirt. Rack him up. I see this, yeah. Digital man, Vinny in for CC or Nurse. As much as we can all shit on Darnell Nurse and you want to do, this team is better with him in the lineup. You do not get better with Nurse sitting in the press box. Cody Ceci, I may have seen enough at this point. Who knows? We will find it out. And there was a lot of talk about that coming in. Is when's Vinny going to get back in? I feel like this is a series that completely rolls into Vinny's type of style of play. He's mean. He's angry. He'll win one-on-one battles, which is something exactly Cody Ceci did not do on that second goal tonight. I don't know. It's just tough to keep rolling it out. In Nobby, we trust. It's somebody, Chell says it right here. Why'd Nobby stick with Nurse and Ceci for the whole game? Like, what the fuck? Maybe you'd want some adjustments. It was talked about pre-game or earlier in the week that Brett Kulak will be prepared to play both sides of the ice because he might be playing with Broberg in that Broback role. God, that feels good to say. He might move up to the right side to play with Darnell. They might go all over the place. And I don't know. After that second goal against, I would have been, hey, Brett Kulak, my most consistent D-man, go over there and try and fix that problem. Would you have considered that? I know it's tough for Kulak to switch from his one side to the other. He said he hadn't played the right side since junior, but when he's played it, he's looked good. Would you have considered?
I don't know. I think it's hard to make that move in the middle of the game because I think you make a lot of plans based on what forwards you're going to be facing, who you're going to be seeing on what side. I think that is a lot of part of the strategy going into it. But I mean, I honestly can't wrap my head around why they did this one from the start of the game.
Broken.
I don't get it. It hasn't worked. It never does. It's weird. I'd rather see Nurse with Vinny. I mean, I don't know what it would be, but it's not Nurse and Ceci. It's just not that. There's a wide array of different pairings to try, and it's just not that one.
I've seen enough, damn it. I have seen enough. Mark Moore, not Nurse. He did play physical. Yep, absolutely. QF Pro, keep Broberg. Dude, let's talk about that right now with Philip Broberg. This guy, I'm loving everything he's doing. That stretch pass that sent Rico on a breakaway was shades of Oscar Klefbom, shades of Evan Bouchard. You went, oh my God.
You can see what they saw in him, right? Like you can see how this guy could be a good D-man.
You've seen him with his shirt off as well. He's got the All-Abs team. He's probably first place on that All-Abs team, but it's a great glimpse of the future with Philip Broberg, with Evan Bouchard back there. He had some good shots on net, nice and controlled. He has the length, he has the size, and enough speed that it's tough for guys to beat him one-on-one, because even if he's out of position, he still has the reach, he still has the ability. His hockey IQ is there. He blocked one in front of the net that was just complete. Put your body on the line, sacrifice it. Took it like right in the side of the thigh right there. I'm sure he's going to have a massive bruise there tomorrow. What have you thought of Philip Broberg? Because I have been so impressed.
Oh, so impressed. I mean, this is a guy who he's in the third year of his entry-level contract now, and it's you really didn't make a statement in that third season. He didn't get much playing time this year playing for the Oilers, and you would have thought, if you the comparison was always it's Broberg and Klefbom. That's always the comparison we have because that's what we do. And by this stage in his career, Klefbom had already established himself, but it was a really different situation because Klefbom was coming through on the rebuilding Oilers. They weren't very good at all, but Broberg hasn't been able to find much ice time. But here in the Dallas series, all of a sudden he gets thrown to the lineup, and he hadn't played in a whole month. And he didn't look like somebody who had sat out for a month. He looked like somebody who was ready to go. And credit to him. I mean, like, you're sitting around just practicing and not playing in a game for that amount of time. When you get called upon, you come in and you're ready to go, and he's really capitalized. Like, you're in the last year of your entry-level deal, and this could be a game changer.
I've seen a little bit here in the glimpses, and Bruce Kurlock, he's my hockey encyclopedia, and he called all of this. Broberg stepped in so smooth. He was playing 25 minutes a night down in Bakersfield, almost being a point-per-game player, but am I crazy that I'm kind of like, dude, lock this dude up for so many years at a low cap hit right now. Because I know when I see it, and Philip Broberg has hits as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he's got the it's just taken a while, and I mean the tough thing is you're bringing along a D-man on a team that already has like a blue line with established veteran players. It's not really easy to find time for Philip Broberg to play. I mean, last year they found the spot. Vinny Darnay's came up and filled that spot, and this year it's, what are you going to do? There was talk in the offseason, maybe trade Brett Kulak to open up the spot, but you trade Brett Kulak, then you're lacking a good defensive defenseman who can play both sides, like a good veteran player. Like that's not the game you can really play. But at this point now, given what Broberg has showed in the Stanley Cup, maybe next season you've really got to pencil him into a spot in the lineup.
Yep, I think absolutely. But that's for off-season talk because we're still in the Stanley Cup Finals right now.
We're not there
yet. Well, we had the good, we had the bad. Hit me with the oily now. Because it's our guy, Sergei Bobrovsky. I don't even want to say it like Jay Onright, but I'm going to. Bobrovsky, you're off the case. He was so good. He was just so good. Sportsnet did a great little graphic or whatever. I think it was after the first period that he's been scored on once along the ice, down low, pad level. Every other goal has been blocker high or glove high, and you could see it at the beginning of the game. The Oilers weren't able to raise the puck on a couple of those in-close opportunities, those in-close chances. And then we start the second period, Zach Hyman gets him completely out of position right in front of the net, and he raises the puck. He just raised it way too much. It was one of those nights you just couldn't find a way to beat the guy. His glove was insane. His blocker was all over the place. Him on the ice, like I said, low, his pad game for a 35-year-old man, that boy be nimble. Sergei Bobrovsky, he stood on his head. The Oilers got goalie tonight. We deserved a better result than that. But hey, that was the Bobrovsky game. That was the one you had to steal. You knew he had the capabilities and had the ability to do it. Tonight, we saw it firsthand. Bobrovsky, he's the Oiler.
Yeah, it's amazing thinking back to those two breakaways the Oilers had in the first half of the game. And I think the first one was McDavid. Goes to the back end, gets stoned by Bobrovsky's pad. And then after
not the good stone.
Yeah, it was not the good stone, of course. The unfortunate stone for the Oilers. Nugent Hopkins came on the next one. It looked like a replay. It looked like it was the exact same play. Goes to the backhand. Bobrovsky stops it. And then there's one with Hyman right in front of the net. Pulls the deke. It seems like he has him going to the wrong way. The pad's still right there. This game perfectly showed just how good Sergei Bobrovsky can be. Two-time Vezina Trophy winner. This guy's going to be a Hall of Famer one day, and he wants to have a Stanley Cup on his resume. He got out-dueled last year by a third-string goalie. He's coming into this one saying, I'm going to play the best hockey of my life.
He's got a lot to prove. He's got a lot to prove in this scenario. One thing that could be the Oilie this evening, Connor Brown said it, Throwback Thursday. He called it Throwback Thursday. Oh, I think my computer's failing on me again with the internet. Let's continue. Oh, nice, I'm back.
We are back.
We got chaos over here. Throwback Thursday. Here, there it is. Shout out Connor Brown. That'll do it for the good, the bad, and the Oilie. Brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. That means we now move along to our hot and cold performers, baby. And you know what? We're going to say this one. Brought to you by Boston Pizza. They give us our Around the NHL segment as well. And I always say, if you want to come hang out downtown, but Greta's not your scene because it's absolutely off the hook, Boston Pizza is a great consolation prize. You go down there, get a fishbowl, get some cactus cuts, very family-friendly. Good spot to go. Check them out. BP's team up for the win, baby. For 30 years since the Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. I got interviewed by Stuart for real earlier. That guy is big on TikTok. I'm like, I would never cheer for another team, but if people want to hop on the Oilers bandwagon, I will let them. Will you?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Sure. Why not? Yeah.
I'm not gatekeeping.
No,
I'm not Tyler.
That's what it's done. That's not about that. Like, it doesn't matter if you want to jump on, you see the vibe, and it looks like it matches your style, then just jump on. That's what it's all about.
Jump on, hang
Ride
on.
the wave. Ride the wave.
Ride the wave. Okay, throw in your hot and cold performers in the chat for me right now. Shred Before Dead. He took the most obvious one of them all. He said hot Bob. Yep, I think that's fair to say. Coomzy, who jumps out to you as our performer tonight?
Unfortunately, I have to give it to Sergei Bobrovsky as he was fantastic in this one. And I mean, this is a point that I guess the point here is that if the Oilers play this game, I don't think Bobrovsky can be this goalie every single game in this series. I think if the Oilers put in this effort again, They'll probably get some pucks past Bobrovsky. They'll probably score some goals, but he showed in this one, this could be a game changer for Florida. When you come into this series and you looked at what advantage the Panthers really had, the advantage really is Bobrovsky, and there's a reason they signed him to that 7-year, $70 million contract. Once upon a time, it looked absurd, and now it looks good, right?
So I proposed this on pregame, and I was like, before last year's maybe end-of-year run where they got squeaked in and then the playoffs, Bobrovsky was arguably the worst contract in the NHL. He was on buyout level, and then somehow traps lightning in a bottle, and it's just been absolutely insane ever since. So give credit to him. You went Bobrovsky for the hot performer. For me, I'm going Alex Barkov. I said it before. I do think he is the best two-way defensive centerman in the entire NHL. Well, he sure looked like it tonight. And as Joe Smith pointed out, he does have the offensive prowess, the offensive touch. He had 2 assists tonight, played 21 minutes of ice time, 3 hits, 4 blocks, 2 shots. That is just a completely well-rounded game, which is what you get from Alex Barkov. There's been a debate for years. Is Alex Barkov still the most underrated player? Because I've heard that argument for 5 years, and you can't be underrated, and everybody's saying you're underrated for that many seasons. I think he's properly rated.
Yeah, I think by this point everyone sort of knows how good he is.
He's very good.
Now that Patrice Bergeron's no longer in the league, I think Alex Barkov sort of perfectly fills that spot, which is that you're in the mix for the Selkie every single season, and you also produce offensively. Like this is Patrice Bergeron, Anze Kopitar. There's been guys like this before, but now that Patrice Bergeron's retired, it's clear that this is the top. When you're looking at top centers, who's the best defensively, who can also produce offensively, it's easily Barkov. And look back to that 2014 draft. That's a 2013 draft, I think it was. 2012, I can't remember what year it was. Barkov. That's a huge game changer for Florida because this is a player they did not have for many years, and you can just see getting a guy like that down the middle who can produce offensively and play well defensively. It's such a game changer for your franchise. It's something you can build around for years to come. And I mean, Barkov's been a huge player for the Panthers for years, and it looks like a player who really wants to get over the hump this year. It looks like a player who wants to get it done. Captain of the Florida Panthers. He was there when times were ugly and the team was absolute ass.
He's their Nuge.
Exactly. He's been around forever. He's been around since they were terrible. He's seen everybody else traded away, and this is when you're in a situation like that, you want to get the job done.
Somebody said in your dirt, Panthers fans don't even know what ice is. That might be a little bit of hyperbole. One thing I did find incredibly funny as they were chanting USA in the stadium, but it's just because Bobrovsky's Russian, and that was after he started making some saves. I was like, he's not American, right? But hey, do whatever you want. You win a game in the Stanley Cup Finals, you celebrate, you chant, whatever the hell you want to chant. Hot performer. So wait, that was our hot performers, our cold performers. I assume we probably have a very similar answer to this one. I'll let you go first. Cold performer.
Oh, we'll just take the easy way out and say the Nurse and Ceci pairing, as they were on for both of the goals against for the Oilers. I'm not counting the empty net goal as a regular goal. The 2 other ones were why after the Dallas series they reunited this pairing. I'm not really sure. Like I said earlier, we were talking about this 10, 15 minutes ago, whatever it was. Like, this is the pairing who doesn't produce offensively, or they're not expected to, so they have to be difficult to play against. So when you see like Florida's second goal, when you see that it's easy for their forwards to go in, why are the defenders not making it difficult for the Panthers? This is a pairing that's supposed to be hard to play against. This pairing has to go watch tape from the 2006 run, watch Jason Smith, watch Steve Stamkos, and say, this is how I'm going to play from here on out. That is what the Oilers need from this pairing.
Yep, you said that very well. I laughed. Dirk says, stop pairing those 2, LOL, for fuck's sakes. Yeah. No, I think that probably encapsulates a lot of the fan base in the nation. Citizens from around the club, be sure to as well. Once again, throw down a like right now. We're living the dream. We're doing a post-game show in June for the Stanley Cup Finals. Please show some love.
It's still light outside.
Dude, it's insane.
It's still light outside.
There's plenty of time for partying, Coomzy, because it's Saturday night. Live from Greta Bar Yag. For my cold performer, I could go ceci, but we've already done it. We've already put him over the stake. I'm going to go with Evander Kane. He, to me, was not invisible, but no seriously memorable great plays.
Vibes.
Couple big hits, just wasn't what you wanted. And you know that in that Florida series, keep saying it. It's like fifth time. You fight fire with fire, damn it. And Evander Kane is one of the few forwards on this team that can bring that energy. He just didn't do it right now. Jane just said need to buy him out to improve our defense. Is that for Ceci or is that for Kane? I do wonder. Also, let me know if our internet connection is still strong, because there's probably 250 people from here to the router over there. So we're just going to keep on powering through with that one. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Any for our cold performers. Trying to look in this chat. Harry 2. Boosh not blasting the bomb. But Boosh isn't a cold performer. That's just nitpicking. I'm not calling nude for Boosh a cold performer in this one. Calvin Pickard, cold raising the puck. Yep, that's fair. It's hard. It's hard to raise that puck. Bob has been elite along the ice so far in these NHL playoffs. So that'll do it for hot and cold performers, courtesy of our friends from Boston Pizza. Now let's do the look ahead. Let's do the Betway look ahead, courtesy of Betway 19+. Please play responsibly, because with Betway, you can win a free bet up to $200. All you got to do, create a new account, scan a QR code that will be on your screen. Pat, you'll throw it up eventually. He's having a hard time hearing me right now. To redeem your bonus, you place a bet. No minimum amount is required. And if that bet loses, knock on wood, it won't. That's also not legally binding. You'll get a refund up to $200. You can then use that money to bet on your favorite sports. This offer is only available outside of Ontario. So as I mentioned, Borges Bankroll went 0 for 3 this evening. I actually went 0 for 4 because I tried to live bet the comeback. Plus 750. Put your belief, put your money where your mouth is. Coomzy, did you make any bets? You make any money on Betway? I have a hard time believing you would, because the Oilers didn't score a single goal.
Yeah, no, I was already worried enough about this. I thought, you know what, there's enough anxiety associated with the Oilers being in the Stanley Cup final. I'm not going to throw any bets down. So fortunately, I'm 0 for 0. I didn't take any extra L's tonight.
Oh, you're net zero.
That's right.
I took 5 L's, if you're going to go with that.
Just nonstop L's, eh?
Dirty job. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to sit here and answer to the people. So our next game is going to be Monday nights, I do believe, back in the Sunshine State. Tyler and Liam, they're down there. Also, shout out to whoever put in there earlier. They said the reason we lost is because we never hashtag got Bordsy down to Florida. The chat's had my back all playoffs. They wanted to send me to Florida. We'll see. There will always
Game 7.
Game 5, Game 6. I'll set out for all of these trips if that means Game 7. That will never happen, because I would only be one place. It's right down here.
He's always here. He lives here.
Seriously.
You live here.
There's a Murphy bed. Not a great idea.
Just bring it right down.
Just have all my stuff.
Spring you right back up as soon as you lay down.
From bed. I can just do the show from bed. We could also lay in bed together. That's
been your long game, man.
Oilers Nation
He's
after
doing the
dark,
long
baby.
play.
That's Oilers Nation
after dark.
After dark. Absolutely. So to look at, I want a score prediction for that one. The game will be 6 p.m. Pre-gaming going live at 5 p.m. from right here inside Greta Bar Yank on the Oilers Nation YouTube. Give me a score prediction at any time goal score.
This is going to be a 3-2 win for the Oilers, and I expect Leon Draisaitl will score the opening goal for Edmonton. I think he's going to be the one. It's going to be a power play goal in the first period. The Oilers are going to get past Bobrovsky. They're going to get past that pesky penalty kill that was so good in Game 1. That's what I think it's going to be. They're going to win this thing. They're going to score 3 goals, one of which comes from Leon Draisaitl on the power play.
I like that prediction. I think there's the over. I don't feel confident in a lot in this series. Granted, watch the next game now. Just fucking break through and be a waterfall of goals. For me, I'm also going 3-2. I'm going to take that with you, but my anytime goal scorer, I'm going to go with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I think he's been buzzing a lot lately. There was one, we thought Bobrovsky made the save, right, where he's diving with the paddle. I do believe he just missed the net, but I think Nugent's been... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we call it a TV save.
Good TV save.
They got great TVs here, Greta.
Just being dramatic.
But that one fooled me. That one I thought was the sickest save Ben ever made by Sergei Bobrovsky, but no, it wasn't. So I'm going to say 3-2 Oilers in a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins anytime goal. Let's do that. I'll see some predictions here. Throw them in and I'll read them out because we got to get one more in because our coverage of the final is presented by our friends at Fountain Tire. And Fountain Tire ensures that 100% of their vehicles owned have properly aligned wheels. Wheel alignments extend the life of your tire, which lowers the carbon footprint of your vehicle, reduces emissions, and lowers your fuel consumption. Those are 3 awesome things right there. Shout out to Fountain Tire.
Those are
Read
my
more
3 stars.
about Fountain Tire's ESG initiatives on fountaintire.com. Some of our Cup final coverage is brought to you by Fountain Tire. You clearly have gotten your tires changed over, right? That would be a crazy thing to know.
Yeah, you got to change your cars. You change your tires now to not be the winter tires. You don't need those right now because the snow is fully melted and you're completely fine.
It's hot in here. It was a nice temperature outside the patio. You could be in here boiling hot at Greta. There's so many bodies in here. Then you go out for a nice cool down outside. You can go back and forth. They put the TVs on as well out there. So that was absolutely.
I appreciate the cool June day, honestly.
It was nice.
It's pleasant. Like, it gets so hot in here. It gets so stuffy in here. To be able to go outside and enjoy 10 degrees with a little bit of rain.
As I said earlier, we're not old. I'm not trying to date us, but you're past your 30s. I'm about to hit my 30s. It's so funny watching people walk around this bar having no reservations, no tables. There's no seats, no nothing. And they're just doing lap after lap after lap, trying to find a spot to do the game. We had a number of people just park right in front of us. And we're like, probably not the ideal spot, but there's a great family environment down here. I signed a couple T-shirts, a couple hats, and I didn't. Man, maybe next game we'll be able to give 2 prepaid rounds of shots. Because at Greta, when the Oilers score their first goal, the entire bar gets shots.
Well, we're going to change it so that we get a shot guaranteed because
maybe the first shot on goal on Monday night, I'll give out free shots. I have the power to do that. That's a deal. That's a goddamn deal.
We got to change it. We got to handicap it for Bobrovsky because I don't want to be coming to one of these and we don't get a shot. It's not easy, man. We're sitting there waiting for that first goal, waiting for my shot, and I'm like, what's going on here?
Absolutely.
So handicap it.
Okay, any final message to the people?
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Job's not finished. The way I turn the show, sometimes she goes, sometimes she don't. That's the way of the road. The next one, I feel very nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, a lot of love to you out there in the chats, on the YouTube, whatever social platform you're watching on. We love you. We appreciate you. We do this after every single Edmonton Oilers game. I have done this all season long, from 2-9-1 and wearing a clown wig to down 0-1 in the Stanley Cup final. You trolls in the chat think you can keep me down? Go back to the shows in October. Go back to the shows in November. That's real coping right there. Big shout out to our sponsors, of course. You know them all. Fountain Tire, Boston Pizza, Credit Bar Yeg. There's more. My internet kicked out in front of me. It's not working anymore because this place is way too packed. Coomzy, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate Patrick Puff behind the scenes being an absolute stud. We will be going live tomorrow, Oilersnation every day at noon. The boys down in Florida, they didn't join me tonight. A little upset about that, but they're probably a little upset themselves. We'll get Oilersnation every day at noon, breaking down from their side what they saw, boots on the ground, and what it's like to be a Florida man as they are down there in the Sunshine State.
Jason Alligators.
Yeah, I went around yesterday asking people, what do you know about Florida and or the Panthers? Pretty much everybody
Bath
said
salts.
Florida men, bath salts was a very popular answer,
Gators.
and crocodiles, gators, people missing limbs because of said gators. But we're getting sidetracked because I got a couple beers. I got a crush down here. Greta, if you want to come down, you can come down. Use my name at the front door. You can use it. It'll get you in. I love you all. It's all right, people. As Coomzy said, trust the process. And we'll be back here at Credit Bar Yeg for Game 1. Pre-gaming goes live at 5 p.m. I'll see you then, people.
Best wishes.